Here we are, Saturday morning at 6:35. Just done a bit of a video on driving down Woodhead onto the Snake, and we're just at the moment coming out of Derwent, Ladybower. So hopefully everything's plugged in right this time, because last time got no mic sound, so it was a video of me in silence. So let's fingers crossed we've got it right this time. Hoping to get some decent sunrise sort of footage and stuff, but it's a bit murky, and I think I might have set off a bit late. So hopefully one day we'll get nice clear skies, set off at the right time, and we'll get started the video in darkness, and then as we get down here, sunrise and nice orangey glows. Or maybe that's impossible and I'm not thinking about it correctly. So, what can we do? What can we say? Bit of an introduction to the channel. It's going to be mainly, as you can see from the titles, MGTF that I bought a while ago and been slowly improving. Motorcycling type stuff, maybe some music-y type stuff as well, depends, might stick that on a different channel, but I just wanted to do a channel dedicated mainly to motorcycling and bikes, because on YouTube there's a fair few MG channels on there, but they don't do things how I would do them. Some of the how-to videos, they're not really how-to videos, they're more watch me do something that I've never done before videos. So I think there's room on YouTube for someone that's got a bit more of a clue, mechanics wise, to show people how to do stuff, what you can do, what you probably shouldn't do. By all means, I'm not an expert. I just like having fun, fixing and modifying and playing around with cars and bikes basically, and going down twisty roads, which is always fun. So a bit of an introduction. So yeah, got this MGTF a few years ago now, three years ago. The idea of it was to get, as you can tell from the title, a bit of a project car, something to get a bit of experience spannering on cars, and just something to generally, oh, that's a nice sunrise, I wish I'd got that. It's a bit blinding as well. Yeah, so generally just to tool about with. So done some modifications, not lots, some bits and pieces that we've had to do, some bits and pieces are just for fun. So the first thing I did when I got it back was put a whole new set of discs and pads on it, because they weren't terrible, but they had seen better days, and for the amount of money they cost for pads and discs, it weren't worth just leaving them as they were. What else have we done? Oh, we've put new brake lines from front to back on there. One of the areas that seemed to be a bit of a trap for dirt and corrosion is just under the back wheel arches where the brake pipes run above the wheel. I've not seen that mentioned anywhere on other buyer's guides on that, so that might be something to look out for if you're someone that's looking to get a TF, and I assume the F is the same. So yeah, just watch out for corrosion there. The only reason I noticed mine had gone, because it had gone through an MOT already, was I went to brake one day and the pedal started feeling spongy. So luckily I was sort of only a couple of minutes from home. So I got back home, tested the brakes, and then that's when the line burst. So it must have had a tiny hole in it to start with, and that's why it felt spongy. And then obviously as I've put more pressure in there, it's popped it a little bit more. So we did both sides of those, and front to back as well, just to make sure were copper pipes. So that's all good. What else have we done? Oh, brake wise, we put 2 new calipers on the back. One of them was fine, but the other one, another common F and TF thing is the handbrake. Because the disc brakes on back, the mechanism inside the calipers becomes sticky, so it'll either stick the handbrake on and then not release it, or like mine was doing, it wasn't engaging the handbrake properly, so it became I think it was an advisory on one of the MOTs. So rather than putting one caliper on, I thought I might as well buy 2 new calipers and stick them on, get rid of the problem on the one that was faulty now, and sort of stop the problem on the other one going forward as well. Another thing I didn't do myself, I took it to my dad's mate's garage to have him do it, because I just don't have the kit available at the moment. Was I put a set of springs on it, a set of lowered ironback springs. Now, the reason I did that, well, there's 2 reasons. One, I thought there was a spring that had cracked because it was slightly lower at one side at the front than the other. So I thought, again, if I'm replacing one spring, I might as well just put 4 new springs on them and chuck lowered ones on, because it looks better when they're a bit lowered on there. It's not a massive drop, but it's enough. And yeah, the ride in TFs isn't the best as standard, and you'd have thought we're putting lowering springs on, it'd make it more crashy and bouncy, but to be honest, it's not. They're a bit more. They seem to be a bit more progressive than the standard ones, so just going through your normal little bumps and stuff, it's a bit more compliant. Obviously it's harder when you're hitting bigger stuff, but it does roll a lot less through corners as well, or I find it does anyway. If you ask my dad what the ride was like, he'd say it was horrible, but he's not really a hard low car kind of person on there. At it, road duck. So as well, the other day I meant to pick up the hardtop. Oh, that's another edition, the hardtop, which I haven't got anywhere to put it other than on the car at the moment, so I'm kind of a bit stuck with it on. To be honest, it's nice with it on. It gives the car a nice shape. I think it's it just gives it that bit of definition. And now it's lowered as well, it just kind of looks a bit different to other things around. Well, on the way back, I noticed a it was overheating when it was stood for a while. So wrongly, I assumed that it was the head gasket that had gone, because, you know, K series. So I had my dad's mate sort that out. Took a while, like 2 or 3 months, because it wasn't a priority job for him. I just said it's not a rush, so just fit it, just do it as and when. But I had the head gasket done, the cam belt, the water pump, all done. Just so if you're having the head off, you might as well do the cam belt as well. And it was due for one. So that's that we're all done on there. Got it back, still overheated. So what I did is put a new thermostat on, which I probably should have done in the first place, or at the same time anyway. While the head was off, it'd have been easier to get to. And that's cured it. So thermostat, if you find it's overheating, chuck a thermostat on it. See if that helps it first. I was worried it was going to be like a blockage in the radiator or something, so I really didn't want to start having to put a new radiator on it. Although, again, wouldn't have been a massive issue because I'd have just upgraded it while I was doing it. So I tend to find that if something needs doing, I do more than what's needed, just so it's done and dusted and I don't need to worry about it again. I think that's all. I think that's about it for sensible things, other than bodywork. I had to go at bodywork myself. There are a few scabby bits that were on it, so front wings on right hand side and front. There was a bit of a dent and a gouge out of the front right wing as well, just above the indicator slot on there. So I filled and painted them. Don't do the same mistake I made if you do it yourself. I didn't get paint made up to match the car. I just ordered trophy blue paint, and it ends up it's a slightly darker shade than what the car is for some reason. I don't know whether they changed it in different years or whatever. I used the same paint coat that's on the car, so anyway, so yeah, you can't tell most of the time, but if you look at it at the right angle in the brighter light, you can see there's a dark patch where I've repaired the wing, and a bit round the left air scoop as well. That had a bit of a scab on it. Oh, and I think, yeah, and the left door as well at the bottom on there, the bottom of the door dome. That's gone scabby on this side as well now. So I'll probably end up doing again, because there's no point in just doing one thing. I'll get some paint made up. And do that scabby bit at the bottom of the door, and then just rub down and blow over the other bits that seem to be a bit darker, and should be alright then. Don't get me wrong, the the rest of the paint works nowhere near as good as what it could be either. It's picked up a couple of dents while I was getting the head gasket done as well at the back, so I don't know what's happened there. When we were doing an alternator, it's had a new alternator as well. When we were doing that, I tripped over the ramps that it was on and hit the back of the car with a ratchet spanner, so there's a bit of a scratch and a dent there. This Range Rover likes driving up my arse, doesn't he? So there's a bit of a dent there, but again, these little scratches and little dings all over it, so I'm not precious about the paintwork. Which brings me on to the fun modification bit. So I've got a bonnet bra that I put on sometimes. I've got a set of the original wheels that came with it, the 5-spoke silver ones. I've painted those. I've painted those luminous green, like lime green. So that looks kind of cool when they're all on there. It's kind of like a bit of a piss take of itself sort of thing. It's not a race car. It's never going to be a race car, but let's make it look like a race car. Do you know what I mean? It's just a bit silly. And a bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing as well is I've got an Initial D Speed Stars sticker on the back as well. So if anybody knows Initial D, it's a manga storyline about a kid that's really good at drift racing, basically. So it's like it's obviously a Japanese thing. So to have it on the back of an MGTF, it's just a bit crackers, really. So it's just taking the piss out of itself. Other bits I did. So I bought a set of Abington alloys. I've painted them rover gunmetal, and to match that, I've done the deck finishes in that, and also the ring around the petrol filler cap is also in rover gunmetal as well. Which I think kind of it stands it out. I've seen a couple of other cars that have got a similar thing, so they've got the wheels done in that gunmetal grey, but I've not seen anybody that's done the sort of like the filler cap ring and definitely not the deck finishes. I'm thinking about doing the heater knobs as well, because they've all started to chip because I did them black before, so I might do the heater knobs and the surround to the ashtray, because I did that silver before, but there's nothing silver in it anymore. What else have we done? Oh, I did put a big silicone filter on it for a while and then took it off again because it was just it was just a bit shit. Oh, tyres was one of the first things. So it was a set of brake discs and pads all round, and then a couple of months later, just so all the tyres were the same, I put a set of 4 tyre proxies on there. I did a bit of research to see what was the best tyre to use, because people suggest different things all the time. But apparently tyre proxies have got quite a hard sidewall, so it's quite well matched to having mid-engined car. So yeah, stuck a set of them on there, and then when I got the Abington alloys and painted them up, I stuck another set of tyres on there. And I've also, the Civic that I've got, just the normal day-to-day car, I've put a set of tyres on that. Anytime the tyres wore out the front, I put tyres on. And then the other week I got a screw in one of the back ones, put a set of tyres on the back as well. So they're a good tyre, they feel planted, they don't feel vague at all. I mean, you shouldn't, when you're driving on the road, you shouldn't really be at the limit of adhesion anyway, but it's nice to have good feedback. What else did we do? Front spotlights, I have tinted yellow and put yellow bulbs in them as well. I think I put yellow bulbs in, yeah. So I put tinting film on the spotlights, put yellow bulbs in them on there. Did it properly by taking the bumper off as well, so I could take the spotlights out to make sure the film went all the way around the lens, not just at the front. So that was kind of an easy job. I did have a splitter on the front as well, but I took that off. It's just coming in and out of the driveway, you just used to scrape across the floor, so it was getting annoying having to get a bit of wood out of the garage to bridge the pavement to road dip. I might as well just take it off, save the hassle. I put a new exhaust on it as well. That was fairly straightforward, to be honest. I think the thing with these cars is they're not badly built, and there's not really a job that I say you wouldn't do yourself. Obviously, there's major stuff that you might need specific tools for that if you ain't got, you can't do. But general stuff like alternators and thermostats and exhaust, that sort of thing, it's not complicated. It's just more awkward because engine's in middle. If it were a front engine car, it'd be easier, but engine's in middle. You've got to take engine cover off, which means you've got to take roof off, folding roof forward, take carpet out of there. It's just little bits and pieces, just make it a bit more awkward, really. But that's part of what makes having these sorts of cars fun, right? It's like the whole point of having them is to spend time doing stuff to them. I'm not the sort of person that takes anything too seriously when it comes to cars and such. Like you get people that are sort of intent on everything being spot on perfect as it should be, and that's that's not my cup of tea. Come on, traffic lights. Oh, another thing I forgot about, I always forget about this one. The windscreen washer jets, terrible on the stock ones. So I put a set of Citroen Zara washer jets on there. They fit like basically click straight in, and they're sort of like a wide spray jet rather than being a single spray jet. They're a wide spray jet, so they kind of work a lot better. So that's a good modification if you think of doing some mods. There's actually a book about modifications you can do to Fs and TFs. I bought that, and I also bought the workshop manual, and I don't think I've spent more than 30 minutes looking at either of them, to be honest. I think the main thing I looked at the workshop manual for was for the towing and tracking measurements, but I ended up not doing that myself anyway. So I took it to a garage nearby, the same people that I have work on the Civic, for them to do tracking, because we'd put a bottom ball joint on the right hand side. That's it, that's why we needed tracking doing, so we had that done. Well, I've put chromed indicator bulbs in as well. Again, these aren't anything specifically exciting, but it just cleans it up a little bit. So when you look at the front headlights, the indicator's the innermost circle. If you've got orange bulbs in there, you can see it's orange, so you've got like clear orange. But if you put chrome ones in, it's just chrome, so they all look clear until obviously when the light comes on, it's orange. Same in the back, it just cleans the clear lens part up of the indicator up as well. So yeah, the idea when I bought it was just something to practice working on. It was only cheap. You can still get TFs quite cheap nowadays. They do seem to be getting a bit more expensive though, because there seems to be some places that seem to buy them cheap, stick a head gasket on whether it needs it or not, and then sell it for a premium. So I think there's places like that are kind of inflating the prices of them a little bit. Seems a bit silly to me. And it's getting to be less on the road. It used to be that I'd see at least one a day, but I can't remember. Well, I do remember the last time I saw one on road. It was like last week on my way to work, but you don't see any on the road nowadays, I find. Right, let's start again. Other things I might put on this channel are, so I'm still working up for ideas. Generally, the reason why I'm doing the channel is to, one, give myself practice doing videoing and editing and seeing what sort of content I can create and what I think of it. Two, give me a bit of a record of what I've been doing, what I've been doing to the car, what I've been doing on the bike, just so there's a bit of a memento there, just because I don't know what in sort of 10-15 years time I might want to look back on this and think, yeah, that were nice, let's watch those videos when I had that MG and went out at ridiculous times in the morning to film driving round roads that aren't really necessary. Are you coming down here, Mr. No, good. Yeah, doing silly videos like that. And also, it's somewhere to put the motorbike helmet cam videos, because they take up a lot of room on a computer. So my idea is to, every time I film something, I'll edit it into a video afterwards, then delete the original file, so I'm not having to keep loads of files on the computer. Another thing I want to try and put on there as well is videos of shows we go to. So if we go to for example, I don't know, the Motorist in Leeds, there tends to be quite a bit of stuff to look at there. I've not been since they opened the restaurant part of it up on that. So, and apparently the parking area is much bigger now as well, so the events will be bigger. So the next time I'll go there, I'll be videoing part of the drive there, and then while I'm there, I'll get some footage as well on there. So it's a good place to go if you're into cars and stuff. Quite like it. Some days it looks like it's just full of posers, obviously, because that seems to be a bit of a car culture thing at the moment. But that's what everybody has their own ideas of stuff, don't they? Some people want a race car for the road, some people want the most expensive luxury car they can get, or to make it appear they've got the most expensive luxury car. Some people just want something to rag around in and take piss out of themselves. There is a ProjectMGTF Instagram account as well, which is basically where I've been putting stainless 4 pipes. I knew I'd forget something, so I upgraded the old mild steel cooler pipes front to back with stainless steel ones. That was one of the first things we did as well, because they were looking a bit crusty. But yeah, the Instagram page, you can click on there, have a look. Pretty much put photos of what I've been doing to this on there, and if I go anywhere in the bike or in the car, kind of thing. Again, just another record to have on that. There might be more motorbike trips out soon, because my dad's just got himself a scooter, Bergman scooter, that I picked up for him the other day, on Wednesday. So a bit of a ride back from Northallerton on a scooter. It was kind of fun. First time I'd ever ridden a twist and go. It takes some getting used to the fact that setting off, you're getting like 4,000 RPM before it sets off. I'm used to, obviously, the feeling of not using that much RPM to get going on a 600cc bike rear clutch, so it did feel a bit odd at first. But yeah, it's comfortable. It's not really a motorway muncher type bike, so yeah, like it was pretty much at 7,000 RPM doing 70, and the red line's like 8.5, I think. So yeah, motorway weren't amazing fun. It felt far better doing felt far happier doing 60 mile an hour than it did doing 70. But because I was following my dad back, kept flying off in front and overtaking trucks and stuff, so I kind of had to keep up with him a little bit. And then at the end I put some petrol in, set off without him, so just met him back at home then. Oh, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, people of the interwebs. It's been fun making it, and I hope it's not too badly edited together, and I hope the sound's alright, really. So thank you for watching. Ta-ra!